Welcome to Leadership Unscripted, where I'm going to talk to one of 300 topics at this wheel, that way, which I haven't seen before, generated by AI. Describe the connection between systems and behaviour. Wow, this is a biggie. It's so strong. Where do I start? I think we often focus too much on mindsets that drive behaviour, whereas for me, context is everything. I first discovered and learnt about systems thinking as an undergraduate doing an applied science degree, and I had a health subject, and I read a book called The Turning Point by Fritjof Capra. And in that book, he talked about systems, and he was kind of talking my language, and I hadn't really understood it as a 21-year-old, 22-year-old, whatever. And ever since, I've loved systems. So not systems as in, technology or finance systems. We're really talking about a human system here. Yes, those things do create constraints. And in a system sense, constraints don't mean limiting. Constraints mean create the boundaries for behaviour. And so people can understand what the behaviour should and shouldn't be within the framework or the boundaries that we talk about. And so I'm going to talk about systems in terms of organisational human systems, which absolutely drive behaviour. I learnt more about this in the early 2000s when we had the benefit of flying two Harvard professors over to Australia to teach us about organisational systems, human systems that is, and how they govern behaviour. And so for me, it comes back to what I talk a lot about in terms of performance architecture of the system. You can tell people to, for example, just be vulnerable or just collaborate or run better meetings. But why not? My philosophy is first create the mechanisms to make that happen. So as a simple example, our TLS flywheel, the very first step is the mechanism. So if you want people to be more vulnerable and be a stronger, healthier team, yes, vulnerability is important, but how do you actually do that? So we create a simple mechanism such as a check-in. And the check-in might be for the first 15 minutes, and we use a retrospective called Rose, Bud, Thorn as a really simple one. Rose, what's working well. Thorn, what's not working so well. Bud is what's emerging as a growth opportunity or an opportunity for the team. Sorry, I keep looking down because I'm looking at the timer. And so Rosebud Thorn is a way to use that as a check-in for teams, which then creates the mechanism and the behaviours which drive us in the right direction in terms of creating vulnerability. And so you can see that it becomes this really wonderful flywheel where success breeds success. And so systems and behaviour are intimately linked, and you cannot change behaviour without thinking about systems. If you try, you'll just be flogging your people unnecessarily. All right, that's it. I'm out of time. So thanks so much, and I'll see you in the next one.